Greetings and welcome to our midweek worship here at Light of Faith Bible Fellowship, where Yahushua HaMashiach, commonly called Jesus the Christ, Jesus the Messiah, is our light. Our statement of belief is this: living, He loved us; dying, He saved us; buried, He carried our sins far away; but rising, He justified us, freed us forever. And one day He's coming back, one glorious day. Until that day, we occupy until He comes. That word occupy simply means to handle business. We handle the Master's business until He comes. How do we do that? We watch, we wait, and we prepare for His imminent return. It is our desire again that you would be encouraged, empowered, and even edified through your connection with this ministry. We thank you so much again for worshiping with us in the middle of the week along with us. We've all put a comma in the middle of our week. We've made it over the hump and on the fourth day, and we're grateful, thankful that that the Most High has so allowed us to see this day and has given us our daily bread. But let's continue in our series entitled Yahusha and the Woman at the Well. This would be part 6. Yahusha and the Woman at the Well. Come with me now again to John chapter 4, starting at verse 4, to get the context of the text. Again, let's start at verse 4, but we'll launch off again around verse 6 or 7 and see if we can get through verse 15. But notice what the text says. John chapter 4, verses 4 through 15, reading out the English Standard Version, it reads as follows. And he, Yahusha, had to pass through Samaria. Again, if you missed any of our previous lessons, please follow us on YouTube, befriend us, follow us on Facebook, caught up on all of our lessons. We welcome you again to our virtual family. There's a place for you here. But he had to, John tells us in verse 4, he had to pass through Samaria. We dealt with that very extensively. Let's keep in that same vein of seeing why he had to pass, how John is developing why he had to pass through. In verse 5, so he came to a town of Samaria called Sychar. So if Samaria is the state, Sychar is a city. Are you with me? Um, I better put my charger on my tablet because it's at 15%. I don't want it dying off on me. But it says that he came to a town of Samaria called Sychar near the field that Jacob had given to his son Joseph. We dealt again with the geography of the text. Jacob's well was there in verse 6. So Yahusha, wearied as he was from his journey, was sitting beside the well. It was about the sixth hour or about noon. Verse 7 says, a woman from Samaria came to draw water. Yahusha said to her, give me a drink, or better translated, give me to drink. Uh, uh, Parenthetical note, verse 8, for his Talmudim, his disciples, had gone away into the city to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, how is it that you, an Israelite, ask for a drink from me, a woman of Samaria? We don't get down like that. That's not what we do. Parenthetical note again, for Israelites have no dealings with Samaritans and vice versa. Yahusha answered in verse 10, if you knew the gift of Elohim and who it is that is saying to you, give me a drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water. Do you see a turn in the conversation, Auntie Carver? The conversation has shifted. Let's see if she caught the shift. If you knew who was talking to you, regardless of our differences. And in our previous lesson, we talked about those differences, but in our previous lesson, we talked about those similarities. That woman, you're still dealing with our differences. I'm trying to approach you according to our similarities. Are you with me? And if you knew the gift of Elohim, you would, and who it is that is saying to you, give me a drink, you would have asked him. Isn't it ironic, Sister Cheryl, how sometimes Yahushua talks about himself in third person? He did not say unto God, you would have asked me. But he somewhat detaches himself from the personification that he's showing to the woman and saying that you would have asked him. Wow. Interesting, isn't it? And he would have given you, in spite or even despite our differences, he would have done something for you. And what he would have done for you, regardless of our differences, he would have met us according to the similarities and would have now given you living water. Are you struggling with me still? Verse 11, the woman said to him, Sir, you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where do you get that living water? Next question. Are you greater than our father Jacob? He gave us the well and drank from it himself, as did his sons and his livestock. Yahushua said to her, Lupa, everyone who drinks from this well will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks of the water, now he shifts the person. At first, he said third person. Now he has shifted in verse 14 from third person to first person. Do you see that? But whoever drinks of this water that I will give him, he will never thirst again. Uncle Rick, could it be? Luther, could it be the reason why he shifted persons because she didn't get the him? So he had to give her the I. Are y'all with me?
Yeah.
It's something she's not getting. There's a disconnect. As Prince sang 40 years ago, one of my favorite songs of Cheryl is not Purple Rain, but one of my favorite songs is Computer Blue, where he says something in the water does not compute. It's something here, Luther, that's not computing.
Right.
You know,
Right.
he's trying to help her connect the dots, so he changed the person from third person to first person.
Yeah.
Do you see it? The water that I will give him will become in him a well, a well of water welling up to eternal life. That kind of sounds like what he talked about to Nicodemus in the previous chapter, in chapter 3, and what he's going to talk about again in John chapter 7 at the Feast of Tabernacles. And we've dealt with that living water aspect before. We'll touch on it again tonight. The woman said to him, Sir, give me this water so that I will not be thirsty or have to come here to draw. Uh, Again, our subject is well, question mark, I'm alone. Let's see how Yahushua is handling her aloneness, if that's a word. I don't know if she's lonely or not, but it's obvious that she's alone. Are you with me? Part 2. In our previous, the grass withers, the flowers fade, but the word of our God shall stand forever. In our previous lesson, we introduced the conversation Yahushua had with the Samaritan woman. He said to her, by way of review, give me a drink or give me to drink. We saw in our previous lesson that both give and drink are verbs. Are you with me? Drink in this case is not an object or a noun that's following the verb. Drink here is in the syntax. Both of these words are verbs. Okay, the verb give, as we noted, has two meanings. It points in two directions that go together. It's the giving of something to someone of one's own accord. It's the giving, y'all remember that? Is the giving of something to someone of one's own accord, meaning that what you're giving, you actually want to do it. Are you with me? When he said, "Give me a drink," the emphasis here is that she realized that he's requesting her to do something on her own accord, not only his. Are you with me? Uh, the other meaning, in its secondary application, it means to give one something, watch this, to their advantage. To give to someone for their advantage. Uh, so we will see that as the conversation continues, that he's making the request of her to give him something because it's for his advantage, but she also benefits from it too. Am I making sense? Uh, it's a lot packed in that little two verb phrase. Give me, give me a drink. Drink here, the next verb, in its figurative sense, means to receive, Auntie Carvey, into the soul what serves to refresh, strengthen, and nourish unto life eternal. So, what's actually going on here is way more, as Auntie Carvey said to me on last week. Derek is not really about water. I said, Auntie Carvey, I think you see something, girl. It seemed like he's using water as a concrete illustration to drive home something else. Are you with me? Again, drink here in its figurative sense means to receive into the soul what serves to refresh, what refreshes the soul, what strengthens the soul, what nourishes the soul unto life eternal. Am I making sense? In other words, I think we see now what he's trying to, or what he wants to give to the woman, but he wants the woman to make a step with him. He's made the first step by breaking down the cultural barriers. Now he's asking her to make a step. Give me something to drink. And if you make a step, you're going to see that actually the step that you're making is benefiting you. Am I making sense? Drink here, if you let me move from the Greek to the concrete picture of the Hebrew, shatah in the Hebrew. What was the actual dynamic here? In a physical, concrete sense. We've looked at the ethereal part, but what's the earthly part? What's the concrete picture, Sister Cheryl, that's going on here? What was Yahusha literally intimating? What was he actually saying to this woman with this phrase, give me a drink? Well, when we look at the word drink in its concrete Hebrew, Old Testament Hebrew, shatah in the Hebrew, it has two pictures, Uncle Rick. It has two pictures. It means sit, and it means buttocks. How in the world did they make the connection, Luther, with sit with buttocks? Am I making sense? It means sitting on your buttocks. In the culture, again, we talked about the differences, but here is where the cultures were similar. Here is where the cultures were similar. When someone made a request for you to give them something to drink, what they was literally saying, what they was actually suggesting was, come and sit with me. Are you with me? That is actually what Jesus was requesting of the woman, because he realized that she's alone. He knew. Here's the reason why he had to pass through Samaria, because he had to have an encounter with a woman who is alone, a Samaritan woman notwithstanding. And he's saying to her, let's sit here at this well. Are y'all with me? Again, it's not just about her giving him some water. No, that's surface. Let's get off the surface. Let's launch in the deep and see what's actually going on in this text. You know, I'm tired of simple preaching. Simple preaching don't help nobody. Okay? It's saying the same thing over and over. What's actually going on here? He's telling this woman, let's sit down and let's talk. Are you with me? Now, here is where you come in. Let's talk about it. Let's sit on our buttocks at the well. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. We see his response. What's her reaction? Here it is. Did she say no, Luther? It's time for y'all to talk to me now. Everybody unmute yourself. Did she say no?
No, she did not.
Did she say yes? How did she respond to his request? Give me to drink. Again, he's saying, come sit with me. Are you with me? How did she respond, Auntie Carvey?
She responded with a question.
Okay, all right. Now,
how is it that you, being a Jew, et cetera,
I'm with you, okay? But what is that question intimating? What direction is that question pointing? I see what she said. What does she mean? What's the response here? Did she say no? Or did she say yes? Because he made a direct request. Was the direct request met with a direct reaction? It was met with a question. That's not necessarily a bad thing, though. because if you look inside the question, is she saying no, I'm not going to do it? Or is she saying yes? Let's see. But before we get there, notice the first parent or the next parenthetical note in verse 8. We've talked about this already. Verse 8, for his Talmudim, his taught ones, his 12, had gone away into the city to buy food. Well, we know that it's not a city of Samaria that they're going to buy food from, because they don't get down like that. So, however, inward into Samaria, Jesus has trekked before he let Samaritan soil touch his feet. He already sent his Talmudim away. Y'all go to KFC. I got some business to tend to. Are you with me? You know, they'll come up a little later. Okay. His disciples had gone away into the city. You know, maybe Auntie Carvey, it's a city that's on the county line, you know, before you cross over into, you know, maybe that's where they stopped at Joe's Diner right there on the county line before you get to, you know, verse number 9. The Samaritan woman, as Sister Cheryl is pointing us to, excellent observation. The Samaritan woman said to him, how is it that you, an Israelite, ask for a drink from me, a woman of Samaria?
And tomorrow morning, the precipitation isn't close enough. Cohen told me that and give us any stuff.
Next parenthetical note, for the Israelites have no dealings with Samaritans. Again, we've dealt with that. So, what is she intimating here with this question? I see what she's saying, but where is it going? Where is the question taking us? Because again, he requested water. Did she say yes or no? Y'all talk to me now.
She was
What say
willing,
you?
or she was willing, or she would not have told him he had nothing to draw with.
Oh.
So obviously she was going to give him some water.
Yeah, okay. I'll buy your argument. Unmute yourself, Luther. Talk to us.
Even swapping no swindle. You give me that water you talking about, and I'll give you some water when I get something to dip it with. I'm interested in that water you talking about.
Okay. All right. Okay. What say ye, Auntie Carver? Did she say no? Did she say yes? What does her question suggest?
She did not say no. She said, I'm willing if you're willing.
Oh, that's political.
Well,
but she did not say no.
Let's make a deal, man.
She did not say no. You know, she suggested, hey, man, you got something for me to put it
in? Unmute yourself, Uncle Rick, and be the voice of reason here. Did she say no?
No, it sounded like a pickup line to me.
Oh!
That's good, Uncle Rick.
No.
I think I used that.
No. Watch this, y'all. Uncle Rick has actually made a very poignant theological statement. Many theologians, Sister Cheryl, suggest, and I shared this with Carvey too, and she was like, Luther, please don't preach that, Derek. I'm like, I got to, Auntie Carvey, I got to. Please don't preach that, Uncle Derek. Please don't preach that. But it's in the text, and Rick just brought it out. Many theologians suggest.
Rick is bad.
Watch this, y'all. Many theologians suggest, Sister Cheryl, that this is somewhat of a flirt on her behalf.
Really?
Yes. Wow. Because, again, since we are going further into the dialogue, into the next part of the conversation, Jesus is going to shift the conversation to what? Where is your husband?
Right.
Is he doing that haphazardly? Or was his question, where is your husband, a way to keep her on task?
Yeah.
Meaning, let's sit and talk. But I ain't trying to go there with you.
Right.
Are you married?
Yeah.
Many a theologian have, and I don't want to call it eisegetical because it's not putting something in the text that's not there. That's eisegesis, putting something there that's not there. But it borders on eisegesis because it's there, but is it really there? But according to the culture and according to the conversation, I can actually see it being there. So it is not that much of a stretch.
Right.
Am I making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Could be a pickup line, Uncle Rick. What say ye? Did she say yes? Did she say no? Well, let's look at what she said. He made a request, but she comes back, as Sister Cheryl has showed us, but she comes back with a question. How is it? How is it that you, an Israelite, meaning you know the differences, I know the differences. So, are you trying to hit on me and looking for a way in to hit on me? How is it? Again, she put it in question form. Notice Jesus' statement was not a question. It was a request. It wasn't a command, though it's in the imperative tense. But the imperative tense also suggests an entreaty or a request as well as a command. He's not commanding her to do anything. He's making a request of her. Are you with me? In lieu of his request, she comes back with an interrogative, with a question. How is it that you're requesting this of me? You know the rules. They've been around for almost 1,000 years. How is it that you, an Israelite, ask for a drink from me, a woman of Samaritans? You know we don't have dealings. Sister Cheryl, was that her way of letting him down easy? Y'all don't like my little lesson. Let's go to work, Uncle Rick, since you brought it up.
Sit down, let's have a drink.
Let's sit down and have a drink, you know. But I want to do that. But that's not what we do. So how is it you're asking something of me and that's not what we do? It seems like you are requesting something of me that's going to make me that's going to put me in even worse light than what I already is. That's why I'm coming here at noon to get water in the first place, because everyone in town don't think very highly of me. No way. Are you with me? So why are you, the unmitigated gall of you, stranger, to put that kind of pressure on me?
Nobody else around.
Rick said nobody else. You're right. Yeah. But why are you doing this to me, sir? How is it? How is it? What's your motive, sir? What's your motive? So, did she say no? Did she say yes? Y'all talk to me.
I think that's a yes.
Okay. Watch this. There's no right or wrong answer here. My point in asking the question and how I answer the question is to try to show you the real world that Jesus lived in. Oftentimes, again, we romanticize Jesus, devoid of the real world, real issues and challenge that he faced on a daily basis. In an upcoming series, I'm going to show you right there in the scriptures where all of his disciples came from. And he chose them because of where they were from. Their names tell us where they are from. And the various regions that they were from spoke to how they responded to Jesus. The geopolitical tension that these men were raised in, how that had an effect on how they interacted with someone who had messianic claims and tendencies. And the only way I can convey that to you is to actually show you where they were from. That he dealt with real world issues, real world problems. I can't romanticize him anymore and get all caught up with hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. He healed the sick, raised the dead. Yes, he did. But he lived in a very real world. Are you with me? It's time out that we neglect his humanity to glorify his deity. That's part of the reasons why John had to write his gospel, as we talked about in a previous lesson, because it was those hyper, what's the word I'm looking for? Those who over exaggerated his deity at the expense of leaving out his humanity. Am I making sense? Church, we do the same thing. We are just like those Gnostics. Super spiritual Jesus, devoid of his humanity. No, I don't have to leave out his humanity to prove that he's God. His humanity proves that he's God. Are you with me? I'm going to show you his humanity. At this well here, Sister Cheryl, he's showing us his humanity. John tells us he was weary. That's a human quality. He's doing that again because the Gnostic says that he didn't get thirsty, that he didn't get weary, that his feet didn't leave footprints, that he really didn't die on the cross. Yeah, that's super spiritual stuff. That's too salty. So here is John coming and saying, no, he got weary. He got thirsty. He got sleepy. Am I making sense? That's why he wrote his gospel, to prove that Jesus is the Son of God. And he did not have to neglect his humanity to prove that point. As a matter of fact, he pulled on it. She's actually saying yes, but she's trying to wrap her head around his request. Like what we just said. I agree with you, Luther. I agree with you, Rick. I agree with you, Auntie Carter. I agree with you, Cheryl. She's not saying no. Why didn't she say no? Because she's alone. Hence, she comes to the well in the heat of the day. Are you with me? Sure, man, I would love to sit at this well. And that's the impetus of the text. Is she saying yes to sitting down with Jesus and having some water? That's the concrete picture. Are you with me? Am I making sense? Again, as we mentioned in our previous lesson, because of the tension among the two groups, had Yahusha not initiated the conversation, she would have acted as if he wasn't even there. Are you with me? Because they did not do that. Notice how Yahusha now responds to her reaction. Notice now how he's going to respond to her reaction. Since she did not give a direct reaction to his reaction, but rather asked a question, as Sister Cheryl brought up to us, how now did Yahusha respond to her reaction? Since he realized, you're saying yes to me, but you're framing it in a question. And you're trying to wrap your head around my motives. I get it. That's cool. That's a real world situation. Are you with me? That's real world talk. You know, you're trying to wrap your head around my interests. But you're not saying no. By the way, have you noticed that he has already met her biggest need? Have you seen it? Her biggest need is she's alone. And here he comes, willing to sit. He's already trying to meet her biggest need. Am I making sense? She's alone. Who does she dialogue with on this kind of level, Sister Cheryl? The other women of Sychar and the surrounding areas? No. As a matter of fact, Luther, she takes the brunt of the jokes. You know, she's the one who's ridiculed and talked about. She's the one that the other women are telling their husband, if I as much as see you cross her street, we gonna have problems. You know, you better not say spit, spool, or spaghetti to her. Am I making sense? So who is she talking to? The other women? No. Who's her prayer partner? No conversation from the men, because as we talked about in our previous lesson, men didn't talk to women like that in public. Again, that was another cultural similarity. That's not what happened. So who does she sit and talk with? Y'all don't like my little lesson. Y'all don't like my. Y'all want me to tell you that stuff that you've been hearing for the last 50 years? No, man, that's surface stuff. That's not taking you anywhere. That's not telling us what's going on in this text. This is real world stuff here. Am I making sense? We will see shortly that she can't keep a man. So who does she talk to?
Mercy.
I'm not trying to talk about the woman. I'm just saying what Jesus said. You know, where your husband? I don't have one. You right. You've had 4 and the one you got ain't yours. So the fact that she can't keep a man may be part and parcel due to the fact that she's alone. Am I making sense? That's real world stuff, y'all. That's real world ache and pain. I can't romanticize that. You know, I got to give it to you raw and real. So who will sit and talk to this woman, a Samaritan woman notwithstanding? Notice how he heals her everywhere she hurts. But she don't recognize it yet. Verse number 10. Let's keep talking. Yahusha answered her. Watch this. If you knew the gift of Elohim, and he who it is that is saying to you, give me a drink, you would have asked him. You would have broke the cultural norms. And he would have given you, as we have mentioned already, he's speaking of himself in third person. He's going to move to first person shortly. And he would have given you living water. If you would have made the first step, then he would have responded to you and have also broken the same rule that you would have broken. That's what she's saying. That's what he's suggesting. He would not have ignored you, even though you are worthy of ignoring. Am I making sense, saints? Not only would he have not ignored you, he would have sat and talked with you, but he would have given you something for your own benefit. That's where the give come in, to give on your own accord and to give something for their benefit, something for their advantage. What's on his accord that he want to give Luther, and what's to her benefit? Here it is. And he would have given you living water. Do you see it? Do you see how he made a shift in the conversation?
Yep.
He just took all of the pretense out of the conversation. He just leveled the playing field, if you will. Let's see if she caught the shift. Because she may be a little wary of his motives, because of her question started with how. Okay. Jesus may be a little bit wary of her motives. But now this thing just got cleared up, because he shifted and connected give. Again, as we know, give means to give on your own accord and to give to someone's advantage. What is he giving on his accord, Auntie Carvey? That's for her advantage. Living water. Am I making sense? Let's see if she's picking up what he's putting down. The woman said to him in verse 11, "Sir, you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep." Another question. By the way, where do you get that living water? Did she get it, Uncle Rick? Did she get it?
She's pecking on it.
Yeah. Luther, did she pick up what he's putting down? Y'all talk to me. Where do you get that living water? That's a very telling question.
It's the right question.
Again, she's saying, yes, I will sit and drink with you, but since we don't share eating and drinking vessels, I can't give you water. We see that in the text, right? That's right there on the top of the text. We get it, okay? In other words, it hasn't registered with her that Yahusha is moving away from their differences and focusing on their similarities. She still hadn't picked up on that part yet. She still hadn't got it. Question. What difference is Yahusha trying to move you from, if you allow me to take a preaching moment? But for a variety of reasons, you're still stuck. Now, it's easy for us to look at this woman and see what her challenge is and see what her hang-up is, and that's fine. But by way of biblical application and life application, what is Jesus trying to get us to move from? But for our own variety of reasons, we still stuck. Because there's some things that he's putting down that we still having problems picking up. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. He has made the first step, bringing down the barriers. However, she's still guarded and can't bring down hers. He's made the first step, Luther. Let's sit and talk. Now she's talking about her barrier. You don't have nothing to draw with. Wait a minute, Auntie Carby. But you got something to draw with, lady. Y'all don't like my message. Y'all don't like my message. Y'all don't like my message. She's stuck at a barrier, y'all. Do you see it? He's let down the barrier. She ain't letting down hers. Yes, I will sit and drink with you, but you don't have anything to draw with. But you, Samaritan woman, got something to draw with, though. So if he has pulled down his barriers, are we able to pull down ours? Y'all leave that woman alone. Because we still got barriers too. Yes, we do. She's still guarded. Can't bring down her barriers. Why didn't she offer to use her utensils? She know the well is deep. She brought utensils for the deep well to get her water up with. She couldn't have used her deep for Jesus. That's what the text is asking us. You know, we want Jesus to do everything. But when it comes down to us doing something for him, then the well too deep. And we don't have anything to draw with. Yeah, that's the game we play with him, you see. That's the hustle we give him. So Auntie Carver, he has to bring down the barrier and use his own utensil. We ain't gonna do nothing. Maybe that's the reason why we're alone. Often we miss the forest for the trees. She missed the shift in the conversation. Again, let's pass by one more again. She said, if you knew the gift of God, the gift of Elohim, which suggests what? That she don't know the gift of God. You know, if here is first class condition, is not sense, is if as means uncertainty or doubt. Are you with me? If you knew the gift of God, meaning that you don't know. Am I making sense? And if you knew who it is who is saying to you, because you don't know who's saying to you, let's sit down and talk. Because again, give me a drink means that, to sit down and talk. Okay. You would have asked him, and he would have given you, here it is, living water. Her reaction to this response was another question. Where do you get that living water? Luther, is she picking up what he's putting down? Yes or no? Y'all scared.
A lot of politics, a lot of political I mean, they were racist, they were prejudice, they had all that stuff they had to deal with.
Luther, that's not what I asked you. I asked you a direct question. Is she picking up what he's putting down?
You don't really know him. I mean,
You start to sound political like Auntie Carmen. Let me ask Cheryl. You can go political on me. Where you at, Sister Cheryl? Is she picking up what he's putting down? Look at her question again. Look at the question again. Where do you get that living water? Where, Auntie Carmen?
Well, he said he had it and she's asking for it. He says, I if you knew it, and she's saying, well, where can I get it? So she is asking for what he's offering.
Tell me about it.
Where do you get it?
I want it.
Okay. Okay, let's keep going. Okay. All right. Again, no right or wrong answer, y'all. You know, don't try to be right or think that your response is wrong. No. It's just discussing. You know, we're trying to understand this real world, you know, first century Israel, you know, in lieu of the culture and context that we know. She asked, where do you get it? That living water. If you knew, he said, if you knew. So it seems to me, because of her question, she's still not picking up what he's putting down. She ain't far off though. You know, she's trying. But it's obvious that is some things that she don't know. And she don't know what she thinks she knows. May I prove it to you? Her next question showed that she didn't know what she thought she knew. It's a dead giveaway. Notice what she said next. Verse 12. Who got it? Verse 12. Read it. Unmute yourself. Verse 12.
Are you greater than our father Jacob? He gave us the well and drank from it himself, as did his sons and his livestock.
That's a dead giveaway. She don't get it. Where is that living water? Not what it is, where it is. And to further prove that she don't have a clue to what he's talking about.
It wasn't there.
Her next question is a dead giveaway. Are you greater than our father Jacob? He gave us this. Okay, It sounds like to me, as the young folks say, you false claiming. Because, Sister Cheryl, if Jacob was your father, then you would know what living water is. If Jacob, Uncle Rick, was your father, then you would know where, Auntie Carby, living water is. You wouldn't ask that question. But Jesus is kind. Since she already exposed her ignorance, there's no reason to rub her nose in it. Are y'all with me? Again, I submit to you, if she was a son of Jacob, as she's false claiming here, every son of Jacob, meaning descendant, every descendant of Jacob, know what living water is. Are y'all with me? Which goes back to a couple lessons ago, while the Israelites told the Samaritans, no, you can't build the temple with us. Go away. Now, y'all thought that was being mean. Y'all thought that was being harsh. Look at them, the mean Israelites. Israelites didn't want to be compromised in any way, shape, or form anymore because their compromise, the compromise of their past got them led into captivity. That's why they had to respectfully say, no, you can't help us with this one. Because you are not us. I know that may sound cruel. Real world, y'all. It's real world. I can't romanticize them, saints. This real world. Verse 13. We'll come back to that. Yahusha said to her, since she didn't get it, everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks of the water that I will give him, again, he changed the person from third person to first person here, he will never be thirsty again. The water that I will give him will become a spring in him a spring of water welling up to eternal life. Again, what's the definition of drink? Things that nourish and strengthens unto what? Eternal life. What is Jesus talking about? He's talking about living water. Did she make the connection? Did she shift with it? Or did she miss it? So since she missed it, he had to bring it back to her again. Baby, you talking about this well, Jacob's well. I'm not talking about that now. That was just my setup, if you will, to get you to sit down and talk with me. As Rick said, that was my pickup line. Yeah. 15. The woman said to him, sir, give me this water so that I will not be thirsty. That's good. Watch this. Or have to come here to draw water. She still didn't get it. Thank you, Sister Cheryl. She still didn't get it. Are y'all with me? Again, could it be the reason why she didn't get it? Because she wouldn't let her barrier down. This dialogue is revealing. Now, I can't condemn her because it's some things that she's ignorant of. And that's one of the barriers too. How do we move past our ignorance? Because sometimes our ignorance is exposing. Are you with me? Oftentimes, when we speak in ignorance, it exposes us.
Sure does.
Okay. Again, I submit to you, the Samaritans were not children of Jacob. The Bible tells us where they came from. Kua and Nahaboth and Babylon. So why is she false claiming? The Bible tells us that clearly. Again, I submit to you, children of Jacob, know what living water is, and they know where it comes from. Luther, living water don't come from dug wells. Am I making sense? Let's go back to a series that we had a couple years ago. Who remember where living water comes from, or what living water is? Who remember? Where does living water come from? It comes from three areas. The first one starts with an R. Next letter is an I. Next letter is a V.
Rivers.
All right. That's one source of living water. Where else does living water come from? It starts with an S. Next letter is a P. Next letter is an R. Springs. Next area, living water come from. Starts with an R. Next letter is an A. Next letter is an I. Rain. Living water, Sister Cheryl, don't come from wells. Living water comes from three sources: rivers, springs, or rain. Are you with me? Every descendant of Jacob knows that. That's like saying every American knows that July 4th is Independence Day. Some things you just know. Watch this. In the culture, it only took one drop of living water to be declared clean. That's just how much they valued living water. Because in that area, water was scarce. Are you with me? So it only took one drop of living water. If one drop of living water hit you, you was declared clean. Ceremony. Are you with me? Go back now to chapter 3. That's why Jesus told Nicodemus, man is born of the water and of the Spirit. What was he telling Nicodemus that Nicodemus missed? He wasn't talking about the water that we come out of in the birth cycle and stuff like that. No, that's foolishness. No. But folk preach that kind of stuff. No. You hadn't done your study. No, he was talking about living water, because it only took one drop of living water to be declared what? Clean. And Nick was a teacher and didn't know. That's why Nicodemus said what he said. Because he wasn't an Israelite either. He wasn't a son of Jacob either. Because if he was, he would have known what Jesus was talking about. But he had to spell it out to Nicodemus. And Nicodemus was a teacher. He was on the council. Real world, y'all. Am I making sense? So her question showed her ignorance. That you ask me, where do I get that living water? Oh, you don't know? Boo, you don't know? Two, and I'm done. I've gone long enough. She's still stuck at the well. He has moved to the next point. It's not about her giving him something. It's about him giving her something. And I'm going to meet your immediate need of being alone. We're going to sit and talk. And while we sitting and talking, I'm going to give you something that you would never thirst again. Are you with me still? Saints, when it comes to the Messiah, this is what I want to leave you with. When it comes to the Messiah, remove your barriers. He's already made the first step. So now you got to ask yourself, what protection are your barriers affording you? Are your barriers benefiting you? Or are they just in the way of what Yahushua is trying to do in your life and living? He's made the first step. Are we still now stuck behind our barrier and won't get our utensils out to give him some water? You'll use the utensil for yourself. That's hence you came to the well. But you won't use it for him. That's what John is trying to get us to see with this first dialogue. Real world, real talk. Maybe that's what I should have subject this series, real world, real talk. That's what's going on here at this well. This coming Sabbath day, let's move now to the next conversation piece. Okay. Where's your husband? Let's move to that piece. Where is your husband? Okay. Because then, after that piece, she's going to shift on him again about where to worship, for crying out loud. Luther, how do we move from husbands to places of worship? You want to know why it's shifting and moving like that? Because she's not picking up what he's putting down. But he's gracious. He's not going to give up on her. Because this alone woman in Samaria, Yahushua realizes I must pass through there because there's an alone woman in Samaria that if I can get through to her, she'll be able to get through the whole area. If I can get her to bring her barriers down, she's gonna be able to save the whole region. Are you with me? The whole region who felt that she was useless.
Mm-hmm.
If I can show her who I am, if she realizes who I am, But she's going to have to let her barrier down to do it. But once she finally see who I am, those who thought had no value is going to be the most priceless person in all of Samaria. Are you with me so far? Yeah. Thanks again for making our page a destination. Those live streaming here with us, YouTube, Facebook, I see you. Thank you so much for staying up late with us and allowing us to delve deep into this text, pulling on the culture and the context to see what's really going on. Real world, real talk. Come on back this coming Sabbath day, 12 noon Central Standard Time. Let's get back in this text. Let's check out the next dialogue piece, starting around John chapter 4, verse 15, verse 16. Let's see how the conversation continues. Take care, y'all. Signing off.